The 119th Congress has begun. Mike Johnson was reelected Speaker, but not before a little drama. Some members needed to hear their names called more than once, and two members needed to have their egos stroked. Trump was clear. He wanted the debt ceiling raised, and he wanted Mike Johnson as Speaker, and yet some members bucked him. What does this mean for the road ahead? Joining us is Kentucky Congressman and House Oversight Chair James Comer, who is also out with a brand new book titled All the President's Money, which looks at Biden family business dealings. Welcome to you, Mr. Chairman. What is on your agenda for your committee, both legislatively and from an oversight standpoint in the new session?
Well, we're excited about the 119th Congress on the Oversight Committee, Trey, because we're going to be working closely with the Trump administration, specifically with DOGE. We're in constant communication with Ramaswamy and Musk and their initiatives, most of their policy initiatives. The House Oversight Committee has legislative jurisdiction. We have jurisdiction over the federal workforce. We have jurisdiction over most of the federal buildings. We have jurisdiction over the U.S. Postal Service, which is something they're wanting to talk about. We have jurisdiction over a lot of the information technology that those two tech geniuses are wanting to use to try to catch improper payments and other types of fraud. So we're going to be very busy in the upcoming session working closely with the entire Trump administration.
All right, let's you and I listen to something together, and then I'm going to ask you about it on the other side.
Of course, the president has asked us and really needs us to address the debt limit crisis before that hits in June. So a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things to negotiate, a lot of opinions on all that. So we'll be working long hours with whiteboards, making sure every Republican is on board, because remember, I'll be dealing with the smallest margin in U.S. history for much of the first 100 days, but we're going to get it done.
Yeah, he put his finger on it, Chairman. The GOP has a majority, but it's incredibly narrow, and all the members are not ideologically aligned. I mean, there's a difference between Thomas Massie. He has a slightly different ideology than, say, a Don Bacon. I mean, they represent very different districts. So how will you get all the frogs to stay in the wheelbarrow and get these things done with such a narrow majority?
Well, talking about a narrow majority, Trey, when Stefanik and Waltz resign to go into the Trump administration, and with the Gates seat still not being filled, we cannot lose one single vote. If it's going to be a Republican partisan vote, we can't lose a single vote. So we have to be 100% united. And it was difficult when Trump was president the first time. You were in Congress, and we had dozen or so seat majority, and we still had a difficult time. Now we can't lose any. So when you talk about the debt ceiling, what people have to understand is the federal government is spending so much more money every day than it takes in. Even if we enact these cuts, even if DOGE is successful and we're able to cut $1 to $2 trillion, which is a huge goal to try to achieve, that's going to be over time, over 1 to 10 years. And this debt ceiling is going to cap. If we want to keep the bond markets in line and not have to see a spike in interest rates, which would make the debt go up even more, because we spend $1 trillion a year now on the interest on our national debt of $36 trillion, then we're going to have to raise the debt ceiling, which is what Trump was wanting to do, before we can see these cuts enacted and take effect.
Speaking of debt, I may go into debt and buy your book, but you can also tell me ahead of time a little glimpse of what I'm going to find when I go into debt to buy your book. What's new in your book?
Well, we had to write a book because the media was so wrong in how they portrayed the Biden investigation. We had evidence all along. We had the bank receipts. We had the emails. We had the communication that showed the Bidens were peddling influence and peddling access to our adversaries around the world. We know from the whistleblowers that came forward because of our investigation that the Bidens never paid any taxes on it. But the book goes into all the obstruction that we faced from the White House, from the mainstream media, and explains what goes on during a congressional investigation and what we can do and what we could never do. So I'm proud of the investigation. The book details every penny they took in and explains all the trials and tribulations we went through getting that information.
Now we can add the moniker author in addition to chairman. You and I have both shocked every English teacher we ever had by writing a book. Chairman James Comer, congratulations to you. I hope I see you in the new year.
Thank you, Trey.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.